Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Prey on the GeForce GTX 950. For FPS monitoring, I'll be using Cam. If you want to download this software, there's a link down in the description. And if you want to purchase any of the parts featured in this build and support the channel, there are Amazon affiliate links down in the description too. So Prey, I'll be doing 1080p, 900p, 720p and 1440p. To skip any of those sections of the video, check the description below. So first at 1080p, I'm going to be targeting 60 frames per second. Then I'll be just cranking up the settings, targeting 30. After that, I'll test 900p, which by just using the highest setting and turning off anti-aliasing, I was able to get pretty much 60 frames per second. Not perfect, but it was very close to that target. Then at 720p, by using the highest setting, it's very easy to maintain over 60 frames per second, so no problems there. And finally at 1440p, I lowered the settings quite a lot in order to get 30 frames per second. And it was able to maintain that target so far. So yeah, that's pretty much what I tested. So this game, compared to Dishonored 2, is using a different engine. This time they're using CryEngine, and I'm surprised how the game runs, considering it's a CryEngine title. Those are usually poorly optimized, but they did a pretty good job with how the game runs overall. Compared with Dishonored 2, Dishonored 2 was a mess. I think that's because the engine they were using was quite unoptimized. So from the options menu, I'll tell you which are the settings that cause the higher FPS boosts if you lower them. The first one that I suggest lowering is object detail. That affects the draw distance. If you're using low, you'll see much more pop in than usual. So first I will try medium if you're having performance issues to see how it goes. Then the next setting will be screen space reflections. As usual, reflections are quite demanding, and you can choose between full resolution, half resolution, or just turn them off. Half resolution is not that bad actually, it's a great boost to the frame rate, but turning it off, it's an even greater boost. After that we have the ambient occlusion, which is screen space directional occlusion. That one also should provide a good FPS boost. And after you play with those settings, I suggest lowering shadow quality, but they don't look that much different from medium to very high. They tend to have higher resolutions and higher view distances, for what I could see in that setting. It has very few options, as you can see. On anti-aliasing, we only have many variations of SMAA and FXAA. SMAA will look better, that's usually the case, but it performs a little worse. And then on the texture quality, we have low, medium, high, or very high. If you have a 2GB video card, use medium or low, since on high and very high on 2GB cards, even at 720p, many textures didn't load, so I recommend just avoiding anything past medium on 2GB video cards. Then on 4GB video cards, I use very high, but on some occasions I saw some dips in the frame rate, some very sudden dips, and high VRAM usage. So you might want to try high textures and see how it goes. So I suggest experimenting with that, but if you're past 4GB of VRAM, just use very high and you'll be fine. We are missing an FOV slider, but you can edit the FOV by editing an INI file. You can check a link in the description to know how to change the FOV in this game. The FOV option will be added later in a patch according to the developers, so we hopefully get that option very soon. But for me it just sounds kinda lazy. Was it so hard to add an FOV slider on day one? So those are the settings. As you can see, there are very few settings considering this is a big title, but at least the game runs fine. That's what I take from this pretty much. But I would have liked to see more options, since other CryEngine games have more options into them too. One other thing that I noticed is that when you destroy glass, sometimes you'll see some dips in the frame rate. It seems to be due to the transparency of the glass and what's behind it, so keep that in mind. Sometimes you will see some dips there. And when you load a new part of the level, on the first 5 seconds you'll see a much lower frame rate. For example, if you're targeting 60, you might see 45 frames. After 2 or 3 seconds you'll go back up to 60, so don't worry, it's just that it's loading new assets, it seems. I only use the G4560 on many of my videos on Prey, since it seems to be enough to get 60 frames per second pretty much all the time. It starts limiting the GPU once we try to go past 95 frames per second, something like that. So if you're just targeting 60 frames per second, the G4560 is good enough. It handles the game just fine. I didn't see any slowdown caused due to the CPU, but so far I'm having a lot of fun with it. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Something's broken. Disintegrated circuit. Construction.
Scanning target, no typhon material detected.
I understand. Shield your eyes. I need to call you down. From the inside.
Scanning target. No alien material detected.
Investigate. Disintegrated.
Scanning target. No alien material detected.
Your concern. Disintegrated circuit. Found new instructions.